Horse Sense, The Key to Success is Finding a Horse to Ride is a book for young people. Mr. Trout, the father of positioning, tells readers the way to success in a light and humorous language. Working harder, believing more strongly in yourself, and thinking more positively will not make you successful. Success is not something you can produce on your own, it's what you can get from others. If life is a race, you should not fight alone, but think of yourself as a jockey, think of all the resources around you as horses, and speed up by choosing a good horse. There are 7 horses in life, find a good one and your life will be wonderful. When the opportunity comes, you have to grab it with all your might. This book is about how to be good at assuming things, when running hard towards the goal, using resources, choosing a good horse, finding your own position in the synergy and cooperation, getting twice the result with half the effort in the race of life, and getting the best profit. It's been almost 30 years since the book was published, and although it's not a classic bestseller, the core concept of the book has had a great impact on people, enlightening them and reminding them of the things they need to pay attention to at every junction, so that they can see things more clearly for what they are. Most people grow up with the traditional belief that all they need to do is to study hard, work hard, get into a good school, get a good job, and then work hard to follow the career plan step by step to get rich and famous. However, the author points out that this mistake is, if life is a race, we treat ourselves as a horse, running on our own speed, then the ceiling is very low, because your output is very limited. Even if you don't eat or drink 24 hours a day, you can't create too much value. If you think of yourself as a jockey, and all the resources around you as horses, then you can accelerate your speed by choosing horses. This is also what we often mean when we say learn to leverage, but more people use leverage on a micro level rather than a macro level. The author points out that riding a horse and choosing a horse are both very important things. Unfortunately, most of us can't even ride a horse well in the first place. What does it mean to do a good job? Most people are in jobs where there are countless opportunities to excel, but most people don't think hard enough about how to do their job better. Even fewer people are aware of and willing to spend a lot of time on picking their horses. Utilizing resources is a higher level of competence than running hard. It's a lot like investing. You don't need to go out and make your own projects, all you need to do is take the time to know what projects are good, and then invest your resources in those projects. The core concepts of this article and the book of jockey theory are the same, but the content is not the same, for the young people entering the workplace more meaningful reference. Let's start with the pitfalls of a degree. The pitfalls of a degree. Many graduate students in our society can't explain why they want to be graduate students, and I'm afraid that even they themselves feel guilty when they say it's good for finding a job. However, it seems that once you study hard, you will be able to make up for the uncertainty of the future, because the idea of hard work leads to good results has already been rooted in your heart. The elimination of this uncertainty is only an illusion, and the end result is that you are working in the wrong direction and wasting your time. In fact, most companies don't look at whether you have a master's degree or not for most positions, but more on work experience and personal potential. Degree is more of a demonstration of personal potential. For example, they may give preference to students from major universities. However, whether it is a bachelor's degree or a master's degree is not the key factor. If your personal ability is insufficient, this degree is not even a gilding the lily. If you don't need a master's degree for your future job, I suggest you don't go to graduate school. After working for a period of time, you can figure out whether you need to study or not, and if you do, you can go for a high-quality master's degree. A master's degree is not that valuable. Most companies are more willing to hire younger undergraduates because they are more resilient and have more active minds. Learning as a horse. A degree is not a good horse in many cases, but knowledge is. When choosing a school, we all know it very well, but when choosing what to do in the evening after work or in their spare time, most people will not choose study. And knowledge is the cheapest and most efficient horse. Buy a book, only a few dozen dollars, you may read a book immediately after you can make their value doubled several times. Listening to a few valuable lectures, or attending training or participating in internships are all horses with low investment but rapid results. Continuous learning and seeking advice are very difficult for many people. I have met many people who are at their wits' end, sitting there thinking by themselves, stuck and unable to come up with a good idea, and it is useless to tell them to look at the information and study it or talk to someone who has experience. Some people may think that only the results of their own hard work can be called hard work, but this is not the case. The difference between those who continue to learn and those who don't can be quite large within 5 years of employment. This should be your first horse. Once you've ridden that horse, let's move on to the second horse, work. The pitfalls of work. Many people like to show how hard they work overtime, but the truth is very stupid. Except for some urgent tasks in emergency positions, most of the overtime work is meaningless. Either there is something wrong with the management of the company or the management of the individual. Nietzsche said in The Will to Power, "Praise labor which is the slave's glorification of themselves, because they have no leisure." For individuals, first of all, if you always need to work overtime, you need to look at the workload arrangement is unreasonable or your own time management or work efficiency problems. Workload arrangement is unreasonable, go and communicate with superiors. Is their own problem, then hurry to optimize the workflow. If overtime is due to the company's management efficiency is not high, and cannot learn anything, it is recommended that you change a job. Because every minute you work overtime is a waste of your own time. Work as a horse. There are 2 things that are most important during your first few years in the workforce. Learn and excel at the basics. Recharge yourself in your spare time and create something more valuable than your position, because it's an investment in the future. If you're working all the time and you're not getting any results to show for it, then maybe you need to think about what your work is worth and how you can make results. If the company does not have KPIs, you can set up your own KPIs. For example, a blogger's KPI may be how high the open rate of her articles is, how many retweets she has, and how many favorable comments she gets from readers. If the blogger can achieve the industry's first place in each of these indicators, then that's a very good result. But this is only the standard of a good employee. Continue to take the blogger. She learned product design in her spare time, out of the framework of content writing, with their existing knowledge of clothing plus product design knowledge, designed a set of online tools for their own selection of suitable clothing. This is to create a higher value than the position itself. She can even use this design to organize a team to raise funds. Take a lawyer as an example. A lawyer is not just a good lawyer, because she can combine the law and the internet, do automated legal tools to use. This is the first step in maximizing personal value, creating new products, new value. So choose a company and a position that will allow you to learn and maximize your personal value, and it will be a good horse for you, and then all you have to do is ride it well and make it run faster. With the first 2 horses out of the way, let's move on to the third. The pitfalls of networking. Many newcomers to the workplace waste a lot of time on accumulating contacts. Most of the people who accumulate contacts are not contacts, they just accumulate contacts. There have been a lot of articles that if you are an unknown little brother, even if you add 100 big brother as a friend, they are not your effective network, you have not entered their circle. The people in the circle must be of equal strength. If you didn't ride the first 2 horses well, you may not even be able to ride this one. Use others as horses. Learn and achieve, and then you can start thinking about how to ride the third horse. Alumni, industry circles, others around you, etc. are your horses. When I was in school, I didn't realize that alumni relationships could be a huge resource. Whether you're looking for a job or a business partnership, if you have strong alumni, many things become very easy. Whether you're in college or graduate school, be sure to keep an eye on alumni in your field of study. Choose colleges and majors that have great alumni. After graduation, keep in touch with those great alumni and find out what they are up to. Alumni relationships can lead to more opportunities than you can imagine. There are also tremendous opportunities that come from industry circles, which you can especially realize after starting your own business. In the early stages of business, I have accumulated a lot of contacts, including investors, media, and other resources, but only if I have a good track record in the industry. These resources have played a great role in the first 2 years of business. The biggest role is the forward-looking information. Because you are in the industry circle, your sensitivity to the industry must be higher than that of outsiders. Often, entrepreneurship itself is likely to be prompted by the circle of people who have contacted the start of the work. If you don't have such a circle around you, you probably won't choose to start your own business because you don't know what it will bring to you. Many people who are not in the internet circle or media circle but want to start their own business meet people to talk about their experiences, and after talking more, they will realize that the sensitivity of outsiders is very poor, and it takes a long time to explain to them a concept that insiders already think is common sense, and they may not be able to fully understand it. This information gap is a very, very big factor. Finally, everyone around you is your horse, and many people don't know how to use others. Many people would rather spend time and energy doing things that are not beneficial to their own value added, such as cleaning, than paying someone else to do it for them. This kind of saving money is the worst kind of saving money. Also, many bosses like to do everything themselves, which is not only exhausting, but also ineffective. Many people work hard and think of themselves as race horses, but they don't realize that they can actually be jockeys, and they don't know what kind of horses they can ride and how to ride them, so they run hard all the time, but at a very slow pace. So here's what we can do. Ride the first easy horse, use all the free time to learn well and add value to ourselves. Ride the second horse well and utilize your work position to create your own value. Ride the third horse well and utilize others to magnify your value. The author explains a few important notes for success. 1. In a society where hard work is a given, it's not what you know, but who you know that counts. 2. When setting goals for yourself, avoid putting a blindfold on yourself, being boxed in by the goals you set, and ignoring the once-in-a-lifetime opportunities outside of your main goals. 3. It doesn't matter if you're smart, intelligent, enterprising, or graceful. Look outside and find a good horse, and you'll get twice the result with half the effort. 4. Some people strive for external success to prove that they are smart and capable, but when they should use external help, they have to do it alone, which is a sign of not growing up. It is impossible to be successful on your own, it is other people who make you successful. The author uses the theory of horse racing in life orientation and categorizes it into 3 types: high-risk horse racing, medium-risk horse racing, and low-risk horse racing. The so-called high-risk horse racing series is about finding out what's inside of you and hoping to rely on your own ingenuity and hard work to achieve your goals. However, hard work is only one option. Smart people like to rely on themselves, academic qualifications help you enter the race, and large corporations are a very good starting point for a career, but none of these are directly related to success, so it is a high-risk racehorse. A medium-risk racehorse can be a racehorse that relies on talent, hobbies, location, and publicity. In these cases, success is partly based on your own struggles, and partly on the external forces of talent, hobbies, location, or publicity. The author recommends low-risk horse racing, where success depends entirely on external forces. These are product-based, other people-based, creative, partner-based, spouse-based, family-based, etc. The author does not recommend that you rely solely on yourself. The authors do not recommend that you rely only on your own talents and abilities, but rather on your family, spouse, boss, co-workers, and friends, i.e., find a good horse to ride. If your personal marketing strategy is to rely exclusively on your own talents and abilities and ignore the external environment, then your ride is you. This is a tricky issue. Usually, you get left behind, and then you start flogging yourself. To whip yourself is to work hard, in other words. If other people work 7 hours a day, you will work 8. If other people work 8 hours a day, you will work 9 hours. But hard work alone doesn't always lead to success, or most people who work hard don't succeed. Hard work and a horse will give you everything you need in life. Hard work is just an option. One type of medium risk is the promotional racehorse, 10 times more likely to succeed than the hard-working type. It is an indisputable fact that visibility is more effective than ability in a company, especially a large one. You should strive to write a compelling positive story that you can use over and over again. If you're going to ride the publicity horse, start by giving yourself a title or an idea. What kind of title do you want? Publicity is not an easy horse to ride. You have to be determined to throw away all kinds of information so that you can focus on one idea or concept. I've learned this the hard way about promoting yourself in a company. If you just do the work and don't publicize it, then no one will know that what you do is important, or that it was your idea or that you made it. The best way to publicize is to make a report, or post on the company's intranet site, such as writing a blog post. The most important thing to do well is to practice, practice, practice. If you can record your own reports, watch videos, and improve on them, it will help you improve your presentation skills. Of course, asking your colleagues for suggestions is also a good idea. There are 2 types of horse racing you can do in the low-risk category: creative horse racing and other people's horse racing. If you have a good idea, you need to commit to it. Tell others that you think it's a good idea. Regardless of the format, whether it's a memo, a presentation, or a closed meeting, it's important to let corporate management know that you're the one who came up with the idea. You should involve the bosses, and once you've convinced the big bosses that your idea is a good one, you need to be prepared for a pinch hit. What you have to realize in advance is that when you come to your peers with an idea, if your idea conflicts with their personal plans, you're in trouble. Soon you'll hear comments such as your idea is problematic and conflicts with the organization's plans. Don't ignore their objections, be cordial, thank them for their help, and ask them to submit their objections in writing, which usually blocks out the sillier ones. If they are brave enough to put their objections in writing, then you should do the same. Other racing is the process of getting into the ring of successful people by riding the coattails of others, which may be easier, but at the same time can be one of the hardest ways to ride the coattails of others. Others include your boss's boss, and your co-workers. Your boss is a natural stepping stone. If you're working for someone who isn't the right person for the job, you should send out a first aid signal and be prepared to abandon ship for another job. Your relationship with your boss is the single most important factor, positive or negative, in your career. Choose your boss carefully. The better rider is your boss's boss. In other words, raise your starting point. This can be difficult to accomplish. You have to be both cautious and bold, and you can't have one without the other. When you work for a big company, getting noticed is half the battle. That's why it's so much easier to work at headquarters than on the front lines. In the book, the authors offer 7 low-risk, high-yield horse races to choose from. Corporate racehorse. Choosing to join a large corporation is like starting a racehorse with 50:1 odds, and the best corporate racehorse is the leading company in the leading industry. How do you ride this horse to the top? The authors offer 5 paths. 1. Be an early bird. If the actual business is to be started early, then being an organizer or one of the first employees of the business will give you more opportunities. 2. Be a politician. Doing a good job is only the first step. You must find a way to show others that you can do a good job. 3. Be a shining light. 4. Be a hero. 5. Be a savior. 2. Product jockey. For jockeys who want to choose a product racehorse, it's not so much the ability to innovate as it is the ability to recognize the talent of others. Almost all major product breakthroughs involve 2 types of people, the inventor and the person who realizes the value of the product. When choosing a product racehorse, be careful. 1. Cooperate, not compete. 2. Open your mind and forget about yourself. You have to keep your eyes open, forget about your ego and experience, and evaluate the product solely on the basis of whether it is a horse or not. 3. Stay alert to things. Do not believe the media hype. The media hype reflects not the potential of the new product, but more the prestige of the promoter. A truly original product type racehorse will not be immediately accepted by the media, so it is important to be alert to what is going on around you, especially accidents. 3. Creative racing. If you want to drive a creative racehorse, you either have to come up with a good idea or identify a good idea. Generally speaking, it is easier to identify a good idea than to come up with one, and the odds of winning are higher. How to identify a good idea? First, ask the following questions. 1. Is it the first of its kind? 2. Is it bold? 3. Is it obvious? 4. Is it simple? 5. Does it create problems? 6. Is it appropriate? If the answer is yes to all of these questions, then turn around and get on your horse. Victor Hugo said, "An invasion of armies can stop a man, but a ripe idea cannot." Never be afraid to make a mistake, because most people live in the past and are way behind the times, but you may very well be ahead of your time, and that's great. 4. Other people's horses. Everyone is born at the right time and in the right place, and the key is to recognize opportunities when they come and when they don't go away. Next to the family horse and the spouse horse, the other horse is the horse most likely to help you win the race of your life. If you want to get on the other horse bandwagon, you should keep an open mind and meet the right people. 1. Find a boss to ride for. Ideally, the boss should be a little lazy, a little cunning and a little more politically savvy. He knows how to win important battles, has a lot of real-world skills, and has the ability to inspire others. How should you treat your boss? Flattery is key, but it's best not to be too blunt. Of course, the better rider is your boss's boss. You need to be cautious and bold at the same time, you can't have one without the other. 2. Find a co-worker to ride with and treat them as a partner. 3. Find a friend to ride on. 4. Use celebrities as riders. All you really need to succeed in a long career is a winning racehorse, and then just repeat the same thing over and over again. Partnership racing. Miracles happen when two people who trust each other work together, and partnership is an important tenet. If finding a horse to ride is the key to success, then finding the right partner will double or multiply the probability of success. Self-consciousness is the driving force behind your success, but unless you put a rein on it, it will destroy your success. Attitude is therefore the most important factor in riding a partnership racehorse. You must keep your mind open and learn to respect your partner's opinion, even if it differs from yours. Mutual respect is the glue that holds a partner together, whether in bad times or in good times. 6. The spousal racehorse. Whether in the courtroom or in the living room at home, marriage has been a financial partnership for many years. Money, relationships, encouragement, family, inheritance, etc., are all resources that a spouse is uniquely able to provide. 7. The family jockey. The family horse race is not about money per se, or even what money can buy, but about the opportunity that money represents, the opportunity to utilize the family relationship to gain a certain status. This status includes power and responsibility, and most importantly, self-respect. Competence is not an issue for the family line of race horses. Self-importance, greed and jealousy are anathema to the family type of horse racing, and the smoke of civil war will be lost in the process, remembering that family is family. 8. Changing race horses. In addition to selecting a horse, the author reminds us to change horses at the right time. The primary reason for people's reluctance to change is fear of the uncertainty of the unknown, but change is what is needed to achieve great success in life. So how do you recognize those moments when you can change your racehorse and create opportunities? The author offers some guidelines. 1. When new industries emerge, they represent golden opportunities. 2. When the competitive landscape changes. 3. When there is a downward change in the business situation. 4. When a once-in-a-century opportunity knocks on your door. 5. When you fall into a rut and can't get out of it. The author of The Life Positioning in a wonderful paragraph about work and life positioning. You have to remember that what you are looking for is not a job, but a racehorse, and there is a big difference between the two. There's a big difference between a job, which is a position with responsibilities, hours, salary, health benefits, pension, extra allowances, etc., and a racehorse, which is an idea, a product, or a person. When you take a job, you are putting yourself on an assembly line and are asked to provide a specific service. When you get on a racehorse, you are sharing the fate of someone or something other than yourself. You may end up doing something completely different from what you initially expected. As long as your ride takes you on an amazing journey, why worry about it? After reading Life Positioning, you will realize that racehorses are everywhere, and that what you lack is racehorse awareness. But life is never too early, and it is never too late. This book opens a window for us to understand that as long as we keep an open mind, let go of our self-obsessions, recognize the talents and achievements of others, and listen and observe with our hearts, you will have more chances to jump on the horse that suits you the most at the right moment. Get on the horse, young man.